Hey guys, it's Laura. Welcome to a new reading vlog. So if you saw my last vlog, you will know that I randomly decided at the beginning of the month that I'm going to try to do a 30 books in 30 days challenge. I don't know why, but here we are. I'm currently a tiny bit behind on that. Today is Tuesday, June 8th. I have read 6 books so far this month, so I should have finished another book yesterday. But didn't. So I definitely want to get back on track today, which means I should, in theory, finish 2 books today. So the book that I didn't get to finish from my last vlog was Remote Control by Nydia Okorafor. I am currently 54 pages in, so I definitely want to keep reading this. The goal for today actually is to finish this book and then see if I can finish another one. I don't know. I do have a lot going on and a lot to do today, so that's the plan for today. And I thought we'd start off this vlog by doing a book haul, a library book haul. Anyway, I went to the library. I looked through the sci-fi fantasy section, specifically looking for the shortest books I could find, because I knew that I was doing this 30 books in 30 days and that I definitely needed some shorter books in order to get through this. So I picked up some books, so let's go over them. The first one I have here is Agents of Dreamland. This is by Caitlin R. Kiernan. Never heard of this book before, but of course it was a really short one, so I picked it up. This is a sci-fi, and the last 2 lines of the synopsis is what had me really interested. It said, "Something out beyond the orbit of Pluto has made contact, and a woman floating outside of time looks to the future and the past for answers to what can save humanity." I also picked up Finna by Nino Capri, which is another sci-fi novella. I don't know anything about this, but this is part of a special reading project that I've been talking about for a while now that I've been doing. So it's a book that I need to read so that I can wrap that project up, which doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon, to be honest, but I saw this and I was like, oh, very good. I will pick that up. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, so it's best to just read it from the library. It's a really short one, so I can read it in a day. Next, I picked up In the Vanisher's Palace by Aliette de Bodard. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, Asian inspired, I believe. So that was all I needed to hear in order to pick it up. I love Beauty and the Beast retellings. I love fairy tale retellings in general, and this is really short. I think it's like only 200 pages. Then I picked up this one, which is, what is it? Oh, Forest of Memory by Mary Robinette Kowal. And I picked this up simply because it's by Mary Robinette Kowal. And it's a short one. I don't know what it's about, but it has a deer on the cover. So yay. The Paper Magician, and this is by Charlie N. Holmberg. So this is actually a book that I've been wanting to read for quite some time, but I didn't realize that these were so short. Like, this is only 200 pages. And then this I picked up simply because of its stunning cover and the fact that it was very short. But I mean, look at that cover. It's gorgeous. This is called Busted Synapses, and it's by Erica L. Satifka. This, I have no idea what it's about. I thought the cover was really cool and it was really short, so I picked it up. It's like 95 pages. And then I did pick up 2 other books that are not shorter ones. The Devil in the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. This is a mystery, and I read The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by this author and absolutely loved it. So I've been wanting to read this. This came out in like December of last year, I think, and I never got to it, but I saw it at the library and thought, you know what? I will give it a read. And then I got A Lat's Away, and this is by Darcy Little Badger. I've heard so many good things about this, particularly from Kayla from Books and Lala. This is a indigenous story. We're following a girl who has the ability to call the ghosts of dead animals, which just sounds like an awesome power. And I believe she has to solve some kind of mystery. I think someone dies. I don't know, but I'm excited to read this one and see how it goes. So those are the books that I got from the library. But like I said, today's plan is to finish Remote Control, and then I might pick up one of these shorter books as well today. We've got this one and this one that are both under 100 pages, so I might pick up one of these and see if I can read it. That is it for this intro. I will update you once I have completed a book, and welcome to the vlog. I really hope you enjoy. I will see you soon. Okay, I just finished Remote Control by Nadia Korafor, and it was fine. Okay, I don't know how to describe this. So I guess I just had a completely different picture in my head of what this book was going to be about. We're basically just following Sankofa, who is our main character. She's a little girl who has this ability to bring death, basically. She has been called the adopted child of the angel of death, or the adopted daughter of death, and that's something that people call her because she develops quite a reputation after a very tragic event that takes place in her village when she first develops these powers and discovers them, doesn't know how to control them, and then she kind of just goes on this journey. She has like a little fox companion that follows her, and because of her reputation, like, people give her what she needs. They give her clothes, they give her food, she takes whatever she wants, and she is a bringer of death. With a look, she can kill an entire town, and it's interesting, but I felt like the story was just very directionless, to be honest, and just, I don't know. It was quick. I mean, it's a short book, and I feel like the pace of it was very quick. Maybe a little too quick, because I didn't feel any connection to the character. And like I said, just directionless. I didn't understand the point. I don't know. I really wanted to love it, but just didn't. It was fine, but nothing that I loved, but I didn't hate it. It was a good book. I gave it 3 stars, and that's that. Yeah, I wish I loved it more. That was my 7th book of the month. Today is the 8th. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday. I'm here with a reading update. Last night I finished Forest of Memory by Mary Robinette Kowal, and I had a really great time with this. This was a very interesting novel. So it's sci-fi, and it takes place in a futuristic world where everyone is constantly connected to the internet. So your experiences are constantly being recorded. What you see, what you hear, you can choose to upload those to the internet or even to sell them. Like if you're having a unique experience or an interesting experience, you can sell that experience of what you see and what you're hearing to other people. So it's this society of being constantly connected. And memory is a lot different in this future because, again, everything you're seeing and feeling is being recorded. So if you want to remember something, you can go back and play a memory, and so you always have perfect recall. So this story is about what happens when our main character, Katya, who is an authenticities dealer, she happens to get disconnected for 3 days, and this is the story of what happens to her, and she has to rely on her own memory, which is exactly how we remember things today. But it's interesting in the story because it's so unusual for her to have to try to recall things without having the capture to go back and look at it and remember that way. So it's a very interesting perspective, and it's a very interesting way to think about things as far as memory goes, and how our memory, we know that our memory is unreliable, but in a futuristic world where memories can be captured, memory is 100% reliable because you have a recording of that specific date and time. And something very unusual, I don't want to say too much because it is really short, it's only 88 pages. Something very unusual happens to her during those 3 days that she is disconnected, and she is telling her story, and it's up to us to believe her whether this actually happened, because once she gets connected to the internet once again, there's really no trace of this left behind. And the very, very end of this poses these questions that make you really, really think about the greater picture and kind of what was going on during those 3 days, and maybe there's a greater conspiracy involving AI. It was just so interesting, and I really enjoy it. I highly, highly recommend this. It's only 88 pages. It'll take you half an hour, maybe an hour to read, and I really enjoyed my time with it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and it kind of left me wanting more, but in a good way, because like I would love to see a whole series or at least like a full-length novel set in this world, somewhat of just a hidden gem. Like, I never heard anyone talk about this, never saw it anywhere, just happened to pick it up at the library, and so glad that I did. All of these to choose from, all of my library books, and I didn't know what to read next, so I asked Sean to pick a book for me, and he picked The Paper Magician. So this is the book I'm going to be reading today. It is 214 pages. It says, bound to a magic she never wanted, a young apprentice falls deeper into its mysteries when she must use everything she's learned from her master in order to save him and his heart. Did do a ton of audiobook listening yesterday as well. 55% of the way through The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I'll probably read like a good 20 to 30% of that today and maybe finish it out tomorrow. Hello, it's Thursday and I have a reading update for you. So yesterday I said that I was going to read The Paper Magician. Yesterday I did not. I didn't pick it up. Instead, I finished The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I got to a certain point. I think I told you I was like 50% of the way through. Yesterday I got to a certain point in the book and I just couldn't stop reading. It was so amazing to read this, to reread this, experience everything almost anew. Like, it felt almost like reading it for the first time, even though I know the way things end up. It was still just so exciting. And it's one of my absolute favorite series. You guys know how I feel about Brandon Sanderson, or maybe you don't if you're new here. Hi, I am a huge Brandon Sanderson fan, and this is one of my favorite series of all time. So I finished this, absolutely loved it, 5 stars, of course. But today is the 10th, and I'm planning to actually read this today. I did start it last night. I got 2 chapters in. It's interesting so far. We're following Sione, who has just graduated from this magical academy, and everyone gets to choose what they want to specialize in as far as magic, what type of magic they want to specialize in. And once you're bonded to that particular type of magic, you can only do that type of magic and none other. So she was hoping to a different type of magic. However, many students choose not to go with paper magic because they feel it's boring. So the school has to choose people to choose paper magic as their focus, and she is one of the unfortunate ones who gets chosen for paper magic. But she is just arrived to this house with this magician, what's his name? Magician Emery Thane, and she is going to be apprenticing under him. The types of magic are very interesting. So it seems like more material based magic, if that makes sense. So I'm excited to continue on with this and see how it goes. And then also today I'm planning on starting She Would Be King by Wayatu Moore. I have just downloaded the audiobook from Scribd, so I'm going to be listening to this today. Hello. So I managed to fall asleep without meaning to. So I haven't got too much reading done, but I did start She Would Be King by Wayatu Moore, and I have to say that this is absolutely beautifully written, but I just can't read it right now. A good part of this takes place on a plantation in Virginia, and we're following several different slaves, and just like the brutality and the violence, I just can't deal with it right now. I'm just not in a good mental place to read a story like this. So I'm gonna practice self-care and DNF it, but it's not like a hard DNF. I'll probably get back to that book at some point. I just can't read it right now. Hopefully when I'm in a better mental place, I will pick it up, but I'm already depressed, and this book is depressing me further, so I just can't do it right now. So it's obviously the next day. I didn't finish The Paper Magician last night, but I did finish it this morning. So, well, this afternoon. It's 1:22. I told you a little bit about this. Sione is learning to accept her position and enjoying the magic that she's learning from Thane. However, something happens to Emery Thane. He is attacked, and it is left up to Sione to save him. And it then turns into this somewhat of a quest type thing in order to save Emery Thane. And she kind of falls in love with him along the way. And it was fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. I just personally didn't connect to the story. I didn't really care about either of the characters, therefore I couldn't care when like they were in certain situations, life-threatening situations. I just wasn't invested, and that didn't really make me invested in the story itself. The writing was fine, just not, the story itself just wasn't that interesting to me, unfortunately. So I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. Not bad, but didn't love it, unfortunately. Hello, it is Saturday, and last night I finished Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. I don't even remember if I told you I was gonna read this, but I read this all in one sitting. I couldn't put it down, and I stayed up till 2 in the morning bawling my eyes out. You guys, you don't even understand. You're not prepared, okay? Let me prepare you. If you're gonna pick up this book, just know that you're going to cry. This book absolutely broke me. I mean, it looks like a fun, fluffy contemporary, doesn't it? And it is. It's such a beautiful story. Okay, so we're following Evie. Evie doesn't believe in love anymore. Not after her parents divorced 6 months ago. Ever since then, she hasn't spoken to her dad. She one day develops this power to be able to see couples' futures. So, okay, basically, she's able to look at a couple when they're kissing and see where the relationship began and how beautiful it was, but then she also sees how it ends. And every relationship she sees the future of, she sees it ending in heartbreak. And so she doesn't believe there's any point in love if it's just gonna end in heartbreak. But she is very curious about what is going on with her, why she has this power, why she's able to see these things. And so the only really clue that she has is a book called Instructions for Dancing. And in the back of the book there is a note that says, if lost, please return to, and it has the address of this dance studio. So she goes in there and kind of impulsively tries to go with the flow and figure out what's happening in her life. She signs up for ballroom dancing classes, even though she wasn't really interested in it, but she's having a lot of fun. And then the instructor asks her if she will enter a ballroom dancing competition in behalf of the dance studio, but she doesn't have a partner. So the instructor partners her up with the owner of the studio's grandson, X. And X is basically her dream guy, but she's very standoffish because, once again, she doesn't believe in love anymore. But the two of them spend a lot of time together working on their dance routine, and they end up falling for each other, and it's so beautiful, but also it's so incredibly tragic. This book caused me physical pain. Okay, I was in physical pain last night reading this, crying so hard I couldn't breathe, to the point where I woke up this morning, my eyes were swollen. Like, this book, it was so good, and I don't want like the heartbreak of it to discourage you from picking it up, because it's such a beautiful story, worth hearing, worth reading, and oh my god, I loved it so much. Obviously I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I really connected with Evie, and the cynical way she looks at the world is something that I related to very hard. Also really loved X. He's just such a sweet boy, and he has this kind of philosophy to say yes to everything, all about living in the moment, and I absolutely love him. He's just so sweet. He's a cinnamon roll, and not only that, but he's also a musician. He has a band, and there's a scene in here where Evie and X write a song together, and it's the most beautiful, most wholesome thing in the world. I loved all the aspects of this. The dance parts were just so, I used to dance for a very good portion of my life, and I really miss it, and this book made me miss it even more. And the music, but I highly recommend. Oh my god, you guys, pick this up. Once again, it's been a couple days since I last updated you. Once again, I can't remember when that was, but we should wrap up this vlog so that I can start a new one. And let's go over everything that I read this week. So I think the only thing that I didn't tell you about were the last 2 books I finished, Beastly Bones and Ghostly Echoes, and this is by William Ritter. These are the 2nd and 3rd books in the Jacoby series, and I think I talked about this series in this vlog. Basically, Jacoby is a paranormal detective. I gave both of these 4 stars. I really enjoyed them. There is this like overarching plot that has shown up in the 2nd book that continued on in the 3rd book. In the 2nd book we had possibly dragons and possibly a vampire, and in the 2nd book we definitely had a vampire and some other interesting things. So I'm really enjoying this series. I really enjoy these characters. I'm still reading Raybearer, and I'm probably gonna finish it today, actually, in a little bit. So I'll talk about it in the next vlog. So let's go over everything that I read this week. So I started off with Remote Control by Nnedi Okorafor, which I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. I read Forest of Memory by Mary Robinette Kowal, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. I then read The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, which was, of course, a reread for me, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. The Paper Magician by Charlie N. Holmberg, which I gave a 3 out of 5 stars. Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon, which I gave a 5 out of 5 stars. I am still not over this book. I am still heartbroken. And then, of course, the last 2 books that I talked about, which were Beastly Bones and Ghostly Echoes by William Ritter. And I gave them each 4 stars. So that was 7 books this week, which is really good. I've read a total of 13 books so far, and today is the 15th of June. So I'm doing pretty good. That is this vlog. I hope that you enjoyed. Do let me know down in the comments if you have any thoughts or opinions on the books that I read this week. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.